Hey guys, welcome back to Jay Slicks. I'm your host Jay, and today we're going to be talking about Marvel and why it is dead. The MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is dead, and we're going to talk about that and some of the some of the reasons why things have been very lackluster for the studio's production company lately and their projects and everything, all that good stuff here on the show. But if you want you guys, please to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and follow us on Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcasts is where we're at. So make sure you check us out there. Jay's Flicks, providing you with all your film, show breakdowns, recaps, reviews, previews, whatever you want here. Like I said, we got it all here on Jay's Flicks. Plenty more to come. So please make sure you guys stay and join the family here. We very much appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, yeah, like I said, Marvel is dead. I think we all knew this now, pretty much as the common consensus here. This has been the case since Avengers Endgame released in 2019. 5 years ago. Um, I mean, or yeah, it'll still be 5 years. But yeah, like ever since that movie, I mean, Marvel has really been on the down low. It's been very downhill. It's been bad. It's just been cheesy, bad CGI, bad the storylines just haven't been all that good. I mean, this goes for the shows and the movies. I mean, so if you take a look at the timeline, so of course the first Marvel film being the Incredible Hulk in 2008. Well, yeah, I guess sort of. And then you go to Iron Man and Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, the Avengers, Thor, the Captain America movies, and then you get into the Infinity Saga with the Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. Then you move into Spider Man, The Way Home, Spider Man, Homecoming, all those movies. That's the Spider Man trilogy there in Marvel, which was pretty good. Spider Man Far From Home, and of course No Way Home as well was really good. Probably the highest rated Marvel film since Endgame, and was no Way Home, which is pretty good. Went to go see it myself, and I remember like everybody was so hyped when they brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. That was the last time that I remember a Marvel movie being really good. And ever since then, it's been really just garbage. I mean, it's been putrid. The projects have not been good. And what we're seeing, and now I knew that when Disney bought out Marvel, that it wouldn't be as good as it used to be, and this was a couple of years ago. But even then, still, it seems like they didn't have their hands completely on all the material, all the work, all the projects, and now it seems that that is the case, and you can tell because it just seems like everything is kind of Disney down, like everything is watered down Disney. Like it's like I could tell that the jokes are crummy and they're just not you know, Marvel used to have a good thing where they could like pop in jokes and sarcastic remarks at the perfect times, and it would fit perfectly within the dialogue and the discussion, and the actors could play it off really well. And now it's just like when they put them in, they're just like they're forced or cringy. It's like you're watching a Disney sitcom. Like it's like you're watching, yeah, it's like you're watching an old show on the Disney Channel, like whatever you can name anything, and it's like that it's like it just doesn't have a laugh track, but it's like that forced humor that's just not funny, and it's like they're just doing it there to have a placeholder, dialogue and too many jokes, if you ask me. So, I mean, I really do think that Marvel is in a bad place right now, and I mean, and it's only going to get worse unless they can just make it better. Make better projects, make better shows, make better movies. Choose your storylines more carefully. And choose your actors and actresses more carefully as well. No, I mean, like I said, I think casting wise, the MCU has done a good job for the most part. Of course, the main team with the main Avengers, they did a great job casting Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson. The main guys, the main people. Bringing in Tom Holland and all these other guys, Benedict Cumberbatch with Doctor Strange. So casting wise, Marvel has done a decent job. It's been great. That hasn't been an issue. The Paul Rudd. How can I forget the famous, legendary Paul Rudd? as Scott Lang. But the problem is there is Marvel is trying to, and this is an issue with a lot of movies and shows now in the media world, and it's just not a good thing. But they're trying to accommodate, to the culture, the woke culture, and this and that. They're trying to incorporate these things into superhero movies and superhero shows. Like, no, this is stuff that you get away from. This is stuff that this is stuff that you go to get away from that stuff. Like, I used to grow up, with Marvel, using it as it used to be escapism for me. It used to be where I can go and watch, the Avengers or Iron Man or Captain America or whatever to get away from school and other things going on in life. I can just go in the theater and just watch a Marvel movie with my friends and just escape and have a fun time, and enjoy it, right? And I mean, like I remember the build up to Avengers Endgame was so huge. I mean, that was my sophomore year of high school. This came out in my second semester of my sophomore year of high school, and all throughout, like even the year before, this since the first trailer release, it was so much hype and build up. Like everybody in the school was talking about it. I mean, we talked about it in class as well. Like it was just fun. Like it was like we were waiting for this movie because this was supposed to be the culmination of all the Avengers movies and all these other individual projects. Everybody banding together to fight Thanos, the Infinity War, how that ended and how that set up in game. And so everybody set up separate apart, and Thanos snapping his fingers like that. That was peak Marvel at its highest. Like that was the best it has ever been. And just and Endgame lived up to the hype. It was amazing. Like I said, probably arguably the best film that the MCU has ever put out, ever. I mean, No Way Home could make in that second spot, but like Avengers Endgame is definitely the best MCU project ever. The best ever, whether it's show or movie, whatever. It is the best. And it definitely was worth, the hype and all of the attention and the build up it got. But since then, it's just been a rapid decline. I mean, because you think about after that. Now, I mean, okay, excluding No Way Home because that was good. But they're trying to get so they were shifting from the Infinity Saga into the Multiverse Saga, trying to incorporate the multiverse and from those different things in the comics and trying to bring that um, you know into the cinematic universe because that was something that they hadn't touched yet. They already focused on Ultron, they already focused on Thanos, and so now it's like we need to bring in these other threats. The main Avengers team was dissolved. Iron Man died, Captain America is retired supposedly. Thor is just kind of bouncing around space, So it's like the main six is gone. So now we're bringing in these other heroes. We're incorporating the new multiverse aspect, which was a cool idea. Granted, I was that it seemed like a cool idea, but the problem is how they're doing it. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was like our first film really touching on that. Post Avengers Endgame, following Doctor Strange, and he's trying to save America Chavez, this girl, and who can travel through different dimensions. And we got, Wanda Maximoff is the main villain in that movie. Elizabeth Olsen, who does a phenomenal job playing her in her time throughout the MCU. So yeah, and then from there on out, it's just been like Thor, Love and Thunder, the horrible movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which was awful. I mean, don't even get me started on how bad the CGI was in that movie, and I mean the story. It's just like there's a bunch of videos out there on YouTube that you guys can watch about how they, for those reviewing those projects specifically and just how bad they were. But I'm just gonna sum it up all here and say that it's just it's like those films are just they're just placeholders. They were just there. It's like we have to make this movie. We just have to have it here. Ant Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We just have to have it here. Thor: Love and Thunder. We have to have it there because we need another Thor movie. We need another Ant Man movie. Let's bring in Kang into the MCU. So this is how we're going to bring Kang in through Quantumania, which now probably won't even happen because Jonathan Majors, who played Kang, he's the Marvel dropped him from their studio, so he's no longer acting with Marvel. So that's a whole other thing. Now it's like, what do you do? I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Marvel is trash. It sucks now. The point is, like, I don't know. Like, it's just bad. I mean, even the shows, like, I mean, Secret Invasion wasn't that impressive to me. I mean, now they hit on a few of them like Loki and WandaVision. Those were pretty good. Very highly receptive by the audiences here. But your other projects just weren't. They weren't that good. And to put it blankly, I mean, like, and we knew that it would be hard to continue the sustained success of the MCU without without the original six Avengers, right? We knew it would be tough. But I didn't think it would be this bad of how it's become, and now we're relying on these new bands of superheroes to carry us throughout the MCU, and it's just not going to happen unless they just figure out a way to go back to old Marvel, and doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, you look at the latest thing that they released, which was was the Marvels, which was the sequel to Captain Marvel. So the Marvels, you had Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau teaming up to fight this. That movie was a train wreck. And a lot of people hated on it. But I'm not hating it for a reason because of it's a main female lead cast. No, that's not. No, what I'm hating on Captain Marvel is, or the Marvels as it's called, is because it's just like other recent Marvel projects. It's just not. It's dry. It's no, the story's just not there. Cheesy, crummy jokes and dialogue, and like Captain Marvel, the way they made her character in this movie, she's not as strong as she usually is. It's like this girl could lift a freaking spaceship, and fly it down to Earth like she did in Endgame to save Tony and Nebula. And then in this movie, it's like she's struggling. It almost seems like with her powers. It's very weird, very odd. So I don't know, man. Like I really think the MCU is dead, and it's gonna be hard to revive it back right now, unless when we get Avengers: Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty, which will come out to like 2025. They better be good. I hope the wait is worth it because right now the way it's looking, the MCU is just not. It's just it ran its course. It's fair to say that. You guys might disagree. You guys might think Marvel's doing all right now. You might like some of these projects. You might like the Marvels. You might like Quantumania. You might like some of these things. I don't. It is, and it's more objective than it is subjective because it's just compared to the projects in the past and how Marvel used their storylines in the past and how they develop characters and different plot lines. Now it's just like everything is just all gushy and just thrown together overnight, and it's just not good. So, you know, take with that what you will. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Marvel is dead? Do you think the MCU is done? Do you think it has reached its highest point already? Can it revive itself? Can it come back? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and also make sure you subscribe to our channel. Check us out here on YouTube, and we're also on Spotify and wherever you get your favorite podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Jay's Flicks.